Hello everyone and welcome back to the ALO Gaming channel to Let's Make a Sci-Fi RPG. This is part 3. In the last episode what did we do in the last episode? Oh my god, what did we do? We had finished up building the level. We did that in episode 1, I think. We did a little bit of a skip. I had the set dressing done. I think I did a little bit more set dressing in the last episode where I added in some crates to the storage areas, the cargo bays, and I did the conduit count. So when you collected the power conduits, the counter would go up. We had just a very basic text UI on the screen, and we implemented it so that when you had 3, the airlock door would open and you could get into it. So let's crack on. So here's our level. It's looking pretty cool, pretty big. A lot bigger than it needs to be, but I like it. I think it's pretty cool. So in this video, so we have the we have the exit conditions. So here we have. So this is, we're going to, if I can get to it. Where am I going? Gotta get back into that. So this is the airlock. I'm gonna do something with the airlock. We don't need to animate that door because you're not opening that door ever, unless you want to be blown out into space. Although I guess technically the ship has crash landed, so you will eventually. This will be, if I added a second level, it could be an exterior and you could get here, but it would load the level, it wouldn't open the door. So I've also, in the interim between the last video and this video, I've created a game over scene, a main menu scene, and a windscreen. So I'm guessing that what we're going to do here is we're going to implement them. So we add a sphere collider to the exterior airlock door. So when you get into the airlock, you need to hit that trigger and it will load your windscreen. So we're going to do that. So sphere collider is a trigger. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to create a new script for it to control it. So you see I have a main menu script. I have a game over script. So I've implemented them already. These scripts are very easy, the menu scripts. It's just, and the menus are incredibly basic. They're placeholder menus that are absolutely the most basic. Oh, I see. So in the last video, this is as far as we got. If they increase the conduit counts. So if the conduit counts are greater than 0, you update the... Oh no, we did all this. Yeah, sorry. Mission complete is true. If you have 3 done. No, I changed that. So I must have slightly changed it. I've got player health, so I have health in there as well. So I've done a little bit that I did in college and I brought back home. So yes, we've got all this. So I now have, if repairs done is equal to 3, there's a mission complete boolean that's true, and this that boolean needs to be true for the door to open, and for this. Well, maybe we don't need the boolean to make this trigger work to load the windscreen, because the door will only open if that bool is true. So you can only get to the trigger if the bool is true. So we don't really need it to have it implemented in that particular way. But that is one way you could do it. You could use that bool to you could use that bool to activate the trigger if the trigger was accessible without the door. So if the other game object of tag is player, we are going to and level controller dot mission complete is true. In that case, what we need to do is using Unity Engine dot scene manager, because we have to load a new scene. Scene management. Then you'll go scene manager dot load scene. And if you remember from a previous series where I had loading scenes, which one would that have been? Which one would that have been, actually? You got to have them in the build menu, and this is the number that they are. So load scene 3. So 3 would have been the win scene, win screen, yeah. So you just got to check your build settings to see what number it is, and make sure you're calling it correctly. I did, because I was trying to implement Scene Manager Plus Plus. I was trying to implement that for Booster Blaster builds. That's what it was. So if you watched that series, you would have seen me use Scene Manager.load scene. So here's my main menu scene. So this is basically all you need for the win area code. So when you get into it, this should work. It will work. Very easy script, but it needs, no it doesn't. Game object dot tag, not game object comma tag. That's, make sure you're typing correctly. So that should work for this. The only way to test this is to play it, but that means I have to collect everything and do all the repairs. So I have to do a lot of running around. Now, as this game gets bigger and bigger every time I hit play, but this is the main menu, so I'm playing it from the main menu. So you get to see my basic main menu screen, and hopefully, if the win screen script is working, you'll get to see that too. So this, but my game screen, gotta take that over here. My very basic main menu. So you click play. The bigger the game gets, the longer it actually takes after clicking play to play. So I'm just going to skip ahead because sometimes it can take quite a long time to load the level. Quite a long time. Here we go. Got my dickheaded character. You see 2 frames per second. 0.3, 1.4. Now I've got my health. Health is 10. This is blocking my power conduit count, these statistics, but I always have these up for this project because I need to be aware of all this. So 7 million polygons, 4 million verts, and that's all mostly this guy. 1,300 batches. I've only saved 560 something by batching. Since this, I have actually gone through a lot of the materials and enabled GPU instancing, and I have added occlusion culling on the camera, which has helped a little bit. It seems that when I get out of this door, it normally starts to the frames start to go up again wherever they're gone. 2.2. So you see an enemy there. Doors animating when the frames work. Let's just speed this up. Get me out of the door. Get me out of the door. 0.6 frames per second, 1.2. Like, I don't have the best gaming computer on the planet, but it's I'd say mid-range, so I don't know why this is. I've also found when recording Unity and trying to play this, it does tank my frames as well. So when I'm not recording and I'm testing this kind of stuff, it tends to be a little bit quicker. So you see we're getting there. Have I implemented the weapon pickup yet? No. Taking a shortcut, just gone through the boxes. And now I'm lost. No, come back around. Have I implemented the weapon pickup? I have. So now you can pick up the weapon, and he's now holding it, so his animation has changed. I thought I had recorded that so that you could see the blend trees and stuff that I did. Although I know starting off I did use, I had an animator controller override, so I had 2 different animator controllers, and it switched from one to the other when you picked up a weapon. And then I ended up just using the blend trees and one animator controller. So we shoot. We can kill an enemy with my placeholder bullets. Not sure if the enemies are shooting at this stage, but if I have a lose screen and a health, then they might be. So we've got 2 power conduits. Go ahead and get the 3rd. The controls aren't great at the minute. It's a little hard to move. I'm trying to think of like, oh, and then you've got stuff like that happens. I have sorted that out. Stuff like this happens. It's so you get to the lift. You get to see the lift moving. You haven't seen this yet, so this is my lift. You go in. There's a trigger on this console. So press space to activate the lift. You press space. The lift is animated going down. I have fixed this bounciness. And then the door opens and you leave. And you'll get to see all the great work I did with adding props to my engineering room. Ta-da! So these are the 3 damaged power conduits. So their lights are red. And if you have conduits and there's a trigger in these, so can't see it because I can't look up or down yet. I will be implementing that, but I do check it. You can see they've all turned green, which might be easier for you to see than me because I am slightly colorblind. So it took me a while to kind of look at them and go, is that definitely green? It's no longer red. So all 3 of them have been repaired. So you saw at the start that code saying repairs complete. That boolean is now true, which means that the airlock door should be unlocked. And then we'll see if the windscreen works. So we go back into the trigger, press space to activate the lift. The lift goes up. I mean, that wasn't very difficult, but I was quite proud of that. I'd never done a lift before, so I thought that was kind of cool. And then we come back out and we do our little run. Gotta love his little run. The door opens and we get to the trigger and congratulations, you win. Main menu or quit. So you click main menu and nothing happens because I don't think I implemented that. And you can see in the menu screen, my frames per second, much better. So it doesn't seem to be working. I'm now on the windscreen, yeah. So we just check the script and see if the main menu script is set up correctly. This is the win area, so what we need is the main win level. That's the script we want. It should have 2 functions on it, so a main menu function and a quit function, which I then assign to the buttons that I put into the if Visual Studios will, okay, it's gonna just, come on. It's gonna take a little while. Let's just see if we can speed that up. So main menu button, scene manager.load scene, and I didn't have the scene in there, so that was it. That's why that didn't work. And application.quit won't work in Unity. It'll only work on a build, and it will actually close down the application. So that's what that button will do. So the scene manager should now load the main menu when I click on the button. And we'll see if it does. Just kind of importing scripts, so Unity's just, so we'll try it again. We're still playing. And we're not playing. Okay, we're not playing. We're at the main menu. I'm gonna go back to the script. This is working. This is fine. Any other scripts I need to check out in the area? No, we're all good with that. We're all good with the scripts. So let's test it again and see. So we're going to click play, and then skip ahead to when play actually works. Skip ahead. Okay, so we're going to test it again. 0 frames per second, so that's never good. So I need to do. It's better now. This is still the alpha build, so it's better now, but it's still not great. So it still needs a lot more. Well, 28 frames. That's not as bad. It still needs a lot more work to optimize it and get it running a bit smoother. I'm no power conduits. Where am I going? What am I doing? I'm just running. Oh, I'm gonna, yeah. So I'm gonna test the game over scene. So I have implemented enemy shooting, just the basic placeholder stuff. I do switch to particle effects at the minute. That's just a modeled bullet effect. So if I get in range of the enemy, he comes towards me, he shoots me, my health goes down. When I hit 0, it should load the game over scene. You lose, try again. Main menu. Use the main menu, click play. And again, just skip ahead to when the game plays. You lose, try again. I think this was an issue that the game was saving the player's health. So when I died, obviously the player's health was 0. And I'd go back to the main menu and I'd hit play. And when I played, yeah, you can see their health is 0. So it automatically just lost again. So I got to fix that. And I think I had to do the same with. I had the same problem with if you restarted the game after you picked up the weapon, then you still had the weapon at the start of the game, which you shouldn't have. So I had to reset that, so that at the start of the game, the player was unarmed and had full health. Things that I didn't actually expect to have to do. I didn't, because I'm not trying to save the values. But the value is saved anyway. He's taking a while to unplay. So that has to be fixed in code. So a lot of this stuff is fixed in code. So I get a lot of scripting practice, which is good. Oh. So where are we at? We are looking at, so this is, you can see I have a lot more scripts than I had before. Doors, damage, power conduit scripts, door scripts, enemy scripts, game over scripts, level controller, lift controller, main doors, main menu, player, power conduit, projectile, simple camera, which is not mine, I don't think. Weapon pickup, win area, and level. So we are looking for the player, I think. Yeah, player controller. Oh, Visual Studios can be a pain sometimes. It takes so long. Still not. There we go. So this is my player script. So I have speed, rotate speed. Where do I set his health? Player? Health 10. So when we start the game, his health is going to be equal to 10, and that should help. Should fix the problem we were having. Heal. Health. Let's let Visual Studio catch up with me. Health is equal to, come on, Visual Studios. I've changed my mind. I'm gonna put it in void awake. So awake, start, and update are functions that are part of mono behavior. So these are specific functions that happen within Unity. Awake happens before start. Start happens when the level is loaded, and update happens every frame. There's also a fixed update and late update, and they are kind of... Fixed update apparently is better for... Is it physics or collisions or something? And late update... I don't know, I can't remember. We, in college so far, we've just really used update. And we haven't used awake at all, I don't think, so... Because I just want to make sure that it's set at the start. So, although doing it at awake might not work when the level's reloaded. I don't... Well, we'll find out. So we're gonna hit... We're gonna... We are doing nothing. What are we doing? Oh, it's importing. Okay, we were just waiting for that. So that Unity could catch up with me. So... It's starting to play. Taking a while. Okay, it's not quite working. I'm afeared it's crashing. So we will try it again and see if this recording picks up from where we left off, and it looks like it does. So, and again, we're just gonna see how long it takes. Basically 2 minutes for the level to load. Seems a bit long. Frames 0.5, pretty shit. So let's see if I can get out the door. That door opening always slows things down. So health is 10. No weapons. Good so far. Jeez. And I've no lights in it yet. Well, except for one. I have one light there. And already I'm having massive performance issues. So I gotta wonder how big games are made. This is one level. So how can they make massive levels with loads of stuff in them that run smoothly at 60 frames per second? We're just gonna either skip ahead, because I'm assuming I'm checking my death again to make sure that when I reload, my health goes back to 10. So we'll just get in range, get shot. Get shot. I mean, this would be great if I was trying to implement like bullet time mechanics, slow-mo kind of stuff. But I'm not. And I won't be. So I died. Main menu. Click in the main menu. Click on play. Jump ahead to when the level loads. And health is 10. So that did work. Let's get outside the door again. So now I'm probably going to want to test the wind condition. That's usually when I get in here. Usually when I get in here, the frames pick up. Let's just... I hope... Alright, pick up the weapon. Ooh. Clip through the wall, just getting... No, I'm stuck. I think I did just actually clip through the wall and screw myself. So we'll try. We just go from level 1 probably. Scenes. What am I doing? Over panel. Oh, I'm creating a pause panel. Okay. That's fine. So we're putting in. So this will be handy because you'll be able to see. This is basically how I set up the win scene and the lose scene in the main menu. It's basically the same thing. So you just create a UI and then put some buttons on it, and then you code the buttons to work. And because the pause panel is going to have just buttons from main menu and quit and resume, maybe. I can't remember exactly what I put in, but those would be the usual ones you'd find. It can use the same script as the win screen and lose screen because they've got main menu and quit buttons. So rather than have to rewrite that, you can use that again and just add in a resume, a line of code for resume. And then for the player, you would have to code in the activation of the pause panel when you hit escape or P, whatever key you want to pause the game. So that's that. So yeah, quit. So the button says quit. So you can kind of see it, resume, quit. So I don't even have a main menu button yet. I can add that in if I feel it's necessary, because again, I already have that line of code that works for the main menu. So then you add in a level controller. So that's got the scripts on it. And then you add in, for the quit button, you add in the level controller. You add that in, and then you can access the scripts through this function. So you can click function and then pick which function in the script you've written that you want those buttons to activate or call on, I guess. So we'll open Visual Studios. Takes ages. This is the worst part of doing game dev, is waiting for Visual Studios and Unity to load, because it can take just ages. Keep getting this not responding, but it is responding. So we've got a level controller script. We can take a look at this. If it wants to load, here we go. So just before I do anything, we'll just take a quick look at this. It doesn't actually have. So basically the level controller is it's setting the player health text to health plus whatever the player health value is in the player script. It's updating the conduit count, which is, we did that line of code in the last video, and player health text is health string. So it's updating the player health every frame as well, and then it's keeping track of if the repairs done is 3, mission complete is true. That's what it's doing so far. But now it also needs to keep track of the pause panel. That's what I'm going to be. And the level controller. So one would assume we're going to put in a public game object. A public game object that we will call, say, pause panel, maybe. And then you will set active as false. Yeah, so you'll start that as false. So deactivate it at the start of the game so that it's not there. If the player hits escape, you will access the pause panel and set it to true. And then we'll set up some functions for the buttons. I hope some of this is making sense. I'm not very good at explaining things, but again, these aren't tutorials. These are more just like devlogs. Just showing what I go through in college and stuff that I'm working on. And maybe people will pick up some things from watching these videos, and I hope that you do. And learn from my mistakes. Come on, Visual Studio. No, not recursively. Just set active. Pause panel. Set active. Bracket false. No, bracket false. Semicolon. No space. Semicolon. As we're just doing it in the update. Okay, so if input.get key down during the frame the user starts pressing down the key, holds down the key. So get key down is a press, key is a hold. Okay, so get key down, brackets, keycode dot escape. So if you hit that, then pause panel dot set active will be true. And I believe I set the timescale to 0. Time.timescale. I have been told in class that this is a bad way to do things, and I can't remember why. Basically, it stops the game running. So time.timescale is 0. So you basically say that no time is passing. In the resume button, you will just set the timescale back to 1 and deactivate the pause panel. So pause panel set active to false, time to timescale will be equal to 1. And this is a public void because we will be setting it onto the buttons in the inspector, so it needs to be public so that the buttons can go, okay, so this is here, we can use this. And then you've got public void quit button, probably. And that's just application.quit, and that is a Unity or a Visual Studio's a mono behavior thing. It just works. So I've messed up my curly brackets. So I've got to fix them. Public void quit game or quit button, whatever you want to call it. Quit application dot quit bracket semicolon, and that's that. You can never test that out in Unity. You have to do the builds to test that, but application.quit is just how it works, and I've never had an issue using that line of code. So then you pop back into Unity. Oh, I closed Visual Studios. No. Little tip. When you're doing this kind of stuff, when you're working in Unity and you're jumping back and forth between scripts and Unity itself, never close Visual Studios because you just have to wait for it to reopen again. So don't close Visual Studios. Usually what I do is I'll close Unity first and then close Visual Studios, because sometimes what might happen is I'll close Visual Studios and then I'll close Visual Studios and then I'll go to close Unity and I'll be like, oh, I'll just do this one other thing that I'll see. And then suddenly I need to reopen Visual Studios because I've gone on and done a lot more work. I hope that this works. There's 30 seconds left in this recording, so I'm just gonna, so we got a level controller and we go to, why are they not there? They should be there, they're public. They should be appearing here. They're not. Runtime, level controller. On click, you want to, this is on the pause one, right? Go to function. 3, 2, okay, let's see if I pick it up in the next recording. We're on Video 9 already. Woo! We are... Okay, no, we just... okay, well, I got it to work. Now we're doing some visual effects graph stuff. So this right here is Unity's visual effects graph. I've spoken about this before. I think it is amazing. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing with it. But it is the new particle system with the HD render pipeline, the high definition render pipeline, the HDRP, and it uses the GPU instead of the CPU to do particles, which means that you can have millions and millions and millions of particles. Then it won't tank your performance the way it would if you were using the old particle system. The only thing is that this doesn't register collisions, so you can't really use it to do like lasers that hit enemies and take out their health thing. I'm not entirely sure. I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm trying to set up a laser effect here, a projectile. So when you open Visual Studio, you will have this spawn, you'll have initialize, you'll have update, update will be empty, and you'll have the lit quad output. So I am trying to figure out, I've added in these ones. I don't actually know what I'm trying to do. It's because it's node based. I've never done node stuff before, and there's not that many tutorials online at this stage because it's new. Just a lot of people showing off what they've made in it and making me jealous. Bastards. I'm so jealous of them. They do so much. So if you saw any of my other videos where I was using the old particle system, some of this will look maybe not familiar, but it is like you'll add in, this is turbulence, so it's basically noise. And then you just kind of tweak the values. The problem is I'm not entirely sure what nodes I should be adding to get the effects that I'm looking for. So we're gonna add a new node. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm doing. I do remember having so many problems with this. So this is looking fairly similar to, this has got a force. This has got, okay, so I'm adding in a random number and a rotate vector. So I think I'm trying to get the particle to spin, like the laser to come shooting out and spinning and going forward. So I'm trying to rotate it between 0 and 360 into the rotation, can't do it on the rotation axis, but I can put it into the rotation center. So that'll, I don't know if that will operate on all 3 axes, and then you put that into the angles, I would assume, because it's rotation. I still have so much trouble with the VFX graph. I love the idea of it, and I love the effects that I have seen people come up with using the VFX graph. So, so you click play, there's a laser coming out. So there's 2 things. So the laser's coming out. But nothing looked like it was spinning. Just a bit of a pain, really. And again, I'm having this issue with when my camera gets too close, it clips through everything. So I have my first particle that's coming out, and I wanted this to kind of rotate around it, I think, and have a kind of a shimmery, I don't know, I just kind of wanted it to look cool. And it didn't. It wasn't quite working the way I wanted. I think I do eventually get a laser system working, excuse me, Fucking hay fever. My neck, my back. We're gonna shoot. Pew pew. I have spent hours and hours messing around with VFX Craft trying to get stuff to work and look cool. And I want to use that to create a hologram effect, which I don't really know how to do yet. And the engine core in engineering, I want that to be a cool effect, and also like sparks coming out of the walls because the ship is supposed to be damaged, and maybe if it fires and explosions and all kinds of cool stuff. So that is the plan. Pew pew. Trying to get things to work. Don't know why it disappears when I get close. It makes it very hard to actually see what's going on. So again, if anybody has experience with particle systems, with Unity, or with visual effects graph, and knows why, like I can get close on that side, but if they know why that's happening, please comment below and let me know, because I have no idea, and it would be a huge help just if I could figure out how to fix it, because when you're trying to do stuff like this where I'm trying to line this up, if I can't get close enough to see it, then I'm kind of snookered, really. So any help would be appreciated, guys. Please help me. I don't know what I'm doing. So I am tweaking the values in VFX Graph and looking at them on the scene view. So I have the VFX Graph window that we saw earlier open on my second monitor, and I'm just trying to tweak the values to try and get this almost like a trail behind it, but still kind of rotating around it. Not quite getting it, and every time I look at it, I rotate around, and it's like, oh, it looks fine there, but no, there it's off on this fucking 3D. Maybe I should just make 2D games. That seems like I wouldn't have this kind of issue in a 2D game. This particular recording that we were on, whatever name popped up there, if anybody noticed, Sci-Fi RPG 9, I think we're at. This is 2 hours long. I really hope it's not 2 hours of me just trying to line this bit up with this bit, because that would be not surprising for me that I would spend 2 hours doing that, but quite a long time to have recorded it and to make you sit through and watch. But this is kind of where I got to with this. So I got everything working with regards to the win screen, the lose screen, and the main menu. All that did work. Even if I didn't get it fixed on camera, I did get it fixed. So that all worked. And now I was just moving on to other things. So I wanted to improve the shooting mechanics, because obviously I want more than just that little bullet coming out. I wanted laser effects that kind of sparked when they hit either the enemy or a wall or something. So I wanted them to have a kind of effect. But again, with VFX Graph, because it doesn't do collisions, I don't know if you could have that. So I don't know if VFX Graph is just more for atmospheric stuff like dust. And I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Oh, hay fever. Sorry about that. If it's just for atmospheric stuff like rain, dust, kind of sparks, explosions, that kind of stuff that doesn't need to be interact with other objects, and then for the likes of like lasers that hit things, you would need to use the old particle system. I'm not entirely. So if anybody knows, I think there was talk of them of them getting collisions to work eventually in the VFX graph, but I think because this is just a graphical thing, because it uses your GPU, it can't register collisions because that's a computer thing. That's a CPU thing. Let's just see what happens. What do I do? Do I just spend ages doing this? Changing the color. Or am I adding something? So gradient editor. So it's transparent when it starts, and then it has the color, and then it gets transparent again. So it doesn't just pop in and pop out. It kind of fades in, fades out. But I liked the color it was, so I'm not quite sure why I'm doing this. Bump up the intensity. I'll hit play. I mean, is it for this that I'm changing the color? I don't really see a difference. And again, I can only see it. It's very annoying. And even though I had turbulence on one of these effects, and I assume it is this secondary one, doesn't seem to be adding any kind of movement to it. So I don't know why that is. I don't know if I'm using the nodes correctly. Like the nodes I use, I have a basic idea of what they should do. But then I don't know if they don't seem to work the way I would expect them to. So I don't know. I don't know is the answer. But this is why I'm playing around with it. I'm trying to figure it out. So, and the more practice I get, the easier, hopefully, things will get. So, the problem with trying to add in something that literally was brand new is that it is difficult to find the help you need when you're struggling to figure it out. So, but I persevere, and I am a glutton for punishment, so I'm still trying to line this up. I really just want to know, just trying to, I mean, the particles look cool. They just don't look the way I want them to look. And that's my issue. Got a pew-pew. Got a pew-pew. Just trying to get it to look kind of cool. So that's shot out. It doesn't even seem to have the second bit on it. That's kind of weird. Oh, visual effects graph. A love-hate relationship. I love it. It hates me. Come on. I'd like to take some bets on how long I attempt this before I move on to something else. So we're at almost 20 minutes of me banging my head against visual effects graph and getting, kind of nowhere with it. The thing is, without that secondary bit on it, it actually looks okay. Like that just thing on its own is fine for a prototype. So, but it's not what I wanted, and I have that problem where it's not what I want. I want it to be what I want. That's why I want it. And I can't kind of just go, well, it's good enough for now and I can fix it later. Put some curves on it. This just says curve, so I don't know if I've clicked on. That can be used to change the scale of it. It can be used to change lifetime. Those curves can be, depending on what actual curve thing I clicked on in the VFX graph, Will depend on what that was. I guess it's a bit silly working on the VFX graph and having the VFX graph on my second monitor that's not being recorded, but you're seeing the effect it's having on my particle, which is very little because I don't know what I'm doing with the VFX graph. So what am I doing? That. I feel like that's a cone. That is a flat cone. So I might be trying to change the emission shape to, for some reason. Again, even I can't see the VFX graph because I didn't record that because I'm stupid. So I don't know what I'm clicking on. Which is why these aren't tutorials. These are just me messing around. It's color stuff. So now I have a constant stream of secondary particles coming out. So pew-pews. Which, like for a minigun, that's kind of cool. I don't know. Oh, and I still have the bullet existing. Well, they are moving it a little bit, so I think the turbulence is affecting it a little bit, just a little bit. But so for that, I would have increased the lifetime possibly. So we've got the first particle coming out, then we've got, looks like it's got the secondary particle almost inside it, possibly, I don't know. And it's gone. And it's gone. So, I don't know. Yeah, it was coming out on the side there. You could see, it's definitely there somewhere. There it is. I don't know why I'm so focused on this, having this there. I think this on its own looks fine now. Obviously, I just got something in my head. I had an idea of what I wanted, and I couldn't get that idea out of my head. Which is why sometimes if you get stuck in that kind of mode, and you can't get that idea out of your head, and you can't get that idea to work, take a break, work on something else, and when you come back and look at it, you might be able to go, oh, actually, that bit doesn't matter. So that's, sometimes that works. So, still, I wonder how long I'm going to work on this for. Still trying to get it to work. But this is the fun part. This should be the fun part. This is the part I want to be fun. This is the particle effects part. We took the time to build a level, and it took a lot of time, even though I condensed it down to like a video. It took a lot of time to build all that level out. It took a lot of time to then add in the props, so like the crates, and get the lift to work, and animate the doors to open, and get the enemy to shoot the player and move towards the player when the player got in range. And then get the player to pick up a weapon and shoot the enemy, and the lift to animate, and then the power conduits to collect, and then repair them, and get the airlock to open, and then do a windscreen. Like, that took a lot of time, and that's the core gameplay loop, right? That's the core game mechanics. That's what you want, and everything else now is just polish, make it look better, and improve it. So look at the particles; they're so cool. I love particles. I've decided to bring in my VFX graph so that we can kind of see what I'm doing. But we're going to stop it here because we're at just about 55 minutes. And I don't know how much longer this is going to go on for, so I'm actually going to check that. And we'll come back in the next video and pick up from here. And at least then I'll know how much more particle shit I have to either skip through or make you endure, depending on whether it's interesting or not. So yeah, we'll leave it here and I'll pick it up in the next video. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're getting a lot out of this. I know I am. I think this is a lot of fun. So if you like the video, hit the like button. Consider sharing it with anybody you think might be interested in seeing this kind of content. It would really help me grow the channel, and that's kind of what I want to do. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you can be kept up to date on all the cool upcoming content that I've got planned. So thank you very much, guys, and I will see you all next time.